Well, we're joined now by the Associate Minister for Agriculture, Meka Whaitiri, who is also the first minister ever dedicated to animal welfare. Tēnā koe, Minister. Welcome to Checkpoint.
Tēnā koe, John.
What do you make of this footage?
Disturbing, to say the least.
And the fact of the matter is that a farmhand who worked on the farm and who had seen this treatment went to MPI, locals had gone to MPI, and MPI didn't put the cameras in there, Farm Watch did, and if they hadn't done that, we wouldn't know about this.
Yep, and it's true that we got the footage last week, and it's true that MPI are investigating, and it's currently going through that process. But I've asked for an update from the Ministry as soon as possible in terms of how we investigate and how we solve matters, how long they take, because that's also critical to make sure that we're operating in a transparent way.
Are they trying hard enough? Is the Ministry trying hard enough? Why was Farm Watch able to get footage of this occurring when the Ministry was not? The Ministry had witnesses. The Ministry seems to have turned the witnesses away. Why aren't MPI able to do this kind of work themselves?
Well, clearly we have no authority to put cameras in milk sheds to assess farmers' animal welfare practices. I'm not sure how Farm Watch was able to get in there themselves, but the upshot is everyone has seen the footage. It's now been investigated. I've asked for a briefing on exactly how we go about investigating complaints of the severity that we've seen through these videos. And like I said, it's going through that process so that when we come out the other end, John, is that I can give some assurances that both MPI is acting in a speedily way, but in an open and transparent way.
How many animal welfare inspectors does MPI have on their staff?
So we have 22 animal welfare inspectors which are based throughout the country.
And there are 60 million farm animals in New Zealand. So that's roughly one for every 3 million animals.
Yes, which is why when I had my recent Animal Advocates Hui in June, animal welfare resourcing was raised by those that attended the hui, and that's why I've accounted it for my recent release today of my framework for action on animal welfare.
See, it's not funded for purpose, is it? I mean, there is a rhetorical flourishing every time something like this happens, and I'm not just talking about you now, Minister, I'm talking about your predecessors who I've been interviewing for many, many years about animal welfare issues. You say there are people on top of it, they are trying their hardest, but they are not funded to do it, and we are receiving an enormous amount of feedback from people saying they don't actually have faith in their ability to do it.
Yeah, so that's why that was raised with me directly at the Animal Advocates Hui I had 2 weeks ago, John. I've put a framework for action back to those that attended. Over 88 individuals registered and attended the all-day hui at Manurewa Marae. I've listened to what the animal advocates have said. They've raised 4 critical issues that I've said that I'm going to address in this role, and one of them is obviously resourcing. The other one is transparency. We must have an animal welfare system that's transparent. The codes around the Animal Welfare Act need strengthening, and they also advocated for an independent voice. And these are the 4 areas that I've released today in face of those groups and individuals that came to Manurewa Marae to say this is the pattern and the pathway going forward that I'm going to establish so that people know that this coalition government is serious about animal welfare concerns.
You speak about the coalition government. The Greens have put out a statement, Gareth Hughes, saying this highlights why we need an independent commissioner for animals to review inspections and to ensure the high standards of animal welfare. There's a lot of people giving us feedback along these lines. Animals need to have an independent advocate who was not compromised by an association with a ministry that deals in agriculture. Are you considering an independent commissioner for animals or an equivalent position?
Well, like I said today, I released my framework for action for animal welfare, and it included, amongst transparency, strengthening codes and capacity building, an independent voice. So yes, Mr Hughes was at my hui, along with New Zealand First's Mark Patterson. As a coalition government and supplying confidence, we are committed to improving the animal welfare system. We are doing some good things, but clearly we need to do better, and what we've seen in the video today demonstrates that more work needs to be done. in terms of not just the dairy farming, but right across the animal welfare sector.
Meka Whaitiri, who is the Associate Agriculture Minister and who would front, as you heard. Damien O'Connor was not available, saying that it was for Meka Whaitiri to talk about those issues, and MPI would not put up anyone at all.